Okay, so here we are in the parking lot following the tournament. So I was filming the entire time, preparing for, Wyatt's epic cinematic breakdown of this tournament, where he at least did very well, because he's very good at this game. I spent most of my time just kind of walking around and getting a lot of raw footage for him to edit, because he's also good at editing. Why we're in the parking lot right now, which is at the end of the third round, no, in the middle of the third round, is because of one head judge's, I think, very unprofessional and very stubborn approach to a difficult situation. To interpret, which is by definition this guy's job. He's supposed to be the smartest judge in the room. He's supposed to consider every angle, think objectively, and then come up with a firm answer to these hard questions. Wyatt already explained his situation in detail. The judge's side of it consisted of a secondhand anecdote from his security guards, or whatever. They're definitely not security guards. They had red shirts on, and they were called judges. These people passed along information to this head judge, or this head judge interpreted accurate information and gave it back to me, saying Wyatt was essentially belligerent. The words he used specifically were quoting Wyatt as saying something was stupid, implying he became belligerent in several ways, and non-compliant. First of all, like, the reason Wyatt was instantly disqualified from the second game is bullshit. But there is, like, an excuse in the rule book, a stretch in the rule book, that technically makes it legal. So I understand that one. The reason Wyatt was not allowed to play his third game and took it as an instant loss, this being a pivotal game, by the way, the one that shifted it from the possibility of being in the top prize pool, pulling off a bunch of wins, clutching it per se, was this judge's decision to disqualify him simply because he was being belligerent, which I believe is a lie. I approached this judge at first sort of pretending like I was on his side and just wanted to hear the anecdote from his mouth before I left, because I was sure it could not be true. So the judge, as I progressed this conversation, progressively changed his story, because I asked progressively harder questions that he continued to dodge or change his answers to. I did get him to openly admit he had zero evidence that Wyatt actually lied or coerced his opponent into doing anything. And at the end of the conversation, because he implied it needed to come to an end, because I was asking the same questions he wouldn't answer, I told him that's good enough for me and thanked him for his time. But then I just had to get one last word in. I said, on my way out, I just wanted to let you know, I understand where this kid was coming from and why he got so frustrated. It seems you're dodging questions. It seems you're avoiding uncomfortable answers that might lead to something, that proves you did a bad job. I reminded him, or I asked him what his job was. I made him state it in his own words earlier in the conversation, that his job is to interpret these rules, be the head authority, come up with answers. And at the very end of that closing statement, what do you think he did? He exercised his authority, or his fake authority, to have a security team escort me out. Even though I now, like, from first-hand experience, know this guy will treat you like someone angry, and in fact, end up making you angry if he doesn't want to talk to you anymore. If I'd stayed there and explained to him how ridiculous it was, the situation probably would have ended with me actually being humiliated and escorted out of a building by another person whose job it is just to listen to this guy about his made up garbage. I mean,
yeah, made up keyword, because he said
no,
but I said rules are stupid.
There were some blatant lies, like some misquotes. That was when he got to the point where he was like, this conversation's over. Because I said, I'm sorry, I think, I said, can you just like go through the dialogue with me when it turned from a very clear like explanation of the rules to him to this conversation where he would refuse to accept an answer, and I believe you quoted it as saying stupid, something was stupid. That's when he started to stutter. That's when he started to, furrow his brow. And I mean, God, it's just an ugly thing that happened. There's nothing we could have done besides leave.
Yeah.
Accept that loss. Unfortunately, that man's in a position of authority. He doesn't deserve. Let me look these fools in the eyes again. Let me just add, as an objective third party here, No, I think Wyatt's a total faggot. Like, I'd love an excuse to disqualify him from a fucking tournament. But looking from the outside in, looking for, like, any ground that this guy could have possibly had to like, actually have an excuse to do this morally, or, I mean, even in the fucking rule book, man. There was none. This was just completely unacceptable and unprofessional, and I'm appalled. I don't give a shit about this game. I gave half a shit about Wyatt winning, maybe. But, like, I probed every little detail of the situation, and it was just 100% bullshit. There was, like, no ambiguity or gray area here. This guy was wrong. Wyatt got fucked. And so, Wyatt, one important question. I'm sure I know the answer. I just think the fact should be stated. Like, was there a point between you asking the judges to explain the rules and you being disqualified like that, where it could have been like a question, or like a statement or a warning, like, okay, sir, you've become belligerent. If you don't stop now, we're going to disqualify you next round.
There was never that. It wasn't a disqualification, it was a game loss. So I still got to play one game. But he never warned me. He never said anything like that. He was just like, he brought up the penalty, the initial penalty. He brought it up like in a side note. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I have a penalty now. And then I kept talking with him, and then he was like, okay, you have a game loss for next round. I'm like, what? Where did this come from? He never like warned me about that at all, and that was never the initial thing he intended to do either.
Okay, so
it was after I was talking with him. And
let's look into this just to see if we can fuck him with his own rulebook later. I guarantee you there is a clause in there about needing to verbally warn someone that they're being belligerent, give them the option to either comply and accept the answer or take a penalty. And this didn't happen. So that's probably where we could actually fuck this guy if we wanted to pursue this any further. I totally support your decision to just be fucking done with this bullshit league, though. Yeah. I'm very frustrated for you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Alright, guys, so that's going to end this video, and this doesn't mean I'm quitting the channel. I mean, I know I haven't uploaded in a really long time, but VGC is still fun to me. I'll still upload here and there. I have school and work, so it's like, that's why I don't upload very often. I'm sorry about that, and I was really excited to just make this like huge, insanely awesome vlog for you guys to just come back and like, even if I don't make consistent uploads, just give y'all something entertaining and cool. But instead it's just a bunch of drama, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I'll still upload here and there. I'm not like quitting Pokemon or anything. Like I still love the games, but
I got you
for the scene,
cool,
it's not
fancy. Cool. Congrats, hollow energies for when you won.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna use these energy tokens in Magic.
And then I bought a bunch of Mewtwo's. Guys, look at all these Mewtwo's. Mewtwo hype. Oh man, this is Wyatt.
Yeah, Pokemon judges should really take a page out of like Magic judges book or Yu-Gi-Oh judges book. It's just like, or even the TCG Pokemon judges book. It's like the VG judges just don't. Like, they're just not Like, or I mean, this is like an isolated incident, so maybe it's not.
I think this is the action of one head judge.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
may
it's not
reflect on the
inductive of the
organization
whole,
of a
but
whole,
yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, guys, yeah, that's the end. So later.